a knowledge company, we're a services company. We also have the particularity that we don't make medicines for ourselves. We make biologic medicines, but for third parties. We started back in 2006. We're a young company, a real pioneer, and we started with this concept of making medicines similar to the ones already on the market, which are usually more chemical-based, but using biological compounds. Over these 18 years, we've achieved a lot, and we've expanded across both Europe and the Americas. We've been accredited by the FDA, which was a huge challenge. And we've kept growing and taking on more and more projects. And finally, last year, we hit a new milestone. At first, we were only in Pamplona, in Navarre, and now we have a second operational site, one located in Finland. So now we're a fairly large group spread across quite a distance, as you can see. And with that, what we've done is expand and bring together every possible technology so we can develop any kind of biologic medicine, from the very beginning all the way to market, all the way until you can go to the pharmacy and buy it in little vials. That final step, reaching the pharmacy, we achieved with Turku. We already had 350 employees just in Pamplona, and now with Turku, we have 150 more. This is our team. We have a very young team. The average age is around 34. Very, very young, very specialized, with a lot of passion, a lot of drive. This kind of career is very much a vocation. It's very multidisciplinary and, above all, very multicultural. Across our teams, we have people from 23 different nationalities, or more. Why did this urge to change come about? Well, ultimately, we manufacture medicine, and these are extremely long processes. I mean, it can take up to 10 years across different stages before they reach the market. Very often, several clinical phases coexist within the very same project for the very same client, and we were very used to running and managing them in a highly predictive way. In the end, our Gantt chart was always there, and even though we had to adapt to changes, we'd always done it in a very predictive manner. So what happens? Well, we also have to differentiate ourselves in this market. At first, when we were the first CDMO in Spain, that was great. But right now, there are a lot of CDMOs just like us. Not only in Spain, but internationally, and we have to compete against all of them. Or rather, work alongside all of them and support each other, not against them. So, we always have to keep this innovative mindset. We always have to stay on top of every innovation out there, and we always need a continuous improvement process. And above all, we did some soul searching and realized that at the beginning, with the milestones we've mentioned, especially with our first biosimilar, we were hitting our milestones really well, meeting our timelines. We didn't feel that stress, but we started noticing that we had more and more clients. Today, we have 25 active clients. So, we started to see that something wasn't quite right, that there was room for improvement, and we realized that every time a change came up, we'd get stuck. And it was really hard for us to adapt, and above all, really hard to respond quickly and make decisions. Why? Because we always had biased, incomplete information. You'd talk to one person and get one version, talk to another and get a different one. It was very hard to get a full picture in order to make a decision. And when we did make decisions, sometimes we'd miss opportunities. So what strategies and goals did we set for ourselves? Well, we were very clear that when you want to make a change like this, when you want a new working framework, and in this case, we wanted to shift toward agility, which is really a philosophy in itself. You have to change your mindset at the same time as you change your procedures or methodology. For the mindset shift, what we wanted was a team that worked together, that was transparent, that made its own decisions even if just at a local level, but started making decisions. Very important. Since our initial goal was to work at the project level rather than the team level, as it later became, in the end, we needed people to have full visibility into the whole process. Because when you're part of a project, you tend to only see your own piece, and it's very hard to see the rest of the pieces and the impact your actions or your delays. And then, on the other hand, there was the more purely business-driven side of things. We needed to shorten timelines. We needed to be able to make decisions, but not decisions based on gut feeling. We needed that certainty, and we needed data. Which, honestly, we didn't have yet. Because at the end of the day, we're a young company, and we've changed. We work with a lot of different methodologies, with a lot of different clients, and we have to adapt to all of them. So it was very hard to have reliable, standardized data across the board. And above all, one thing was very clear to us. We needed to be proactive and predictive. And another thing we also needed was to improve our ability to adapt to change. So, in order to adapt to change, we needed to build organizational agility as a capability. In other words, we needed a much more global view in order to see the problem we had, decide what we were going to do about it, and then actually follow through on what we said we'd do. That way, we'd be able to respond much faster and adapt to changes. So, let me reflect on this for a moment. Why? Because we've run into real barriers. One of them is change management. It's very hard to get people to change. It's very easy to stay in your comfort zone, and especially, you feel important when you're the one with the tools and the one people come to ask. And having the whole picture, the information, becomes so public hasn't been easy. Another thing we've noticed is that this all comes on top of everything else. We have our regular jobs, and on top of that, we have this initiative with no dedicated time allotted for it. So it's very hard to build habits, even for us, as the core team. That's why, once we started learning about the different frameworks, we saw that Kanban was a good fit. It lets you start exactly where you are, with no structural change required. That's a very important point, especially for us, since we have quite a few layers of hierarchy. So, what suggestions can I offer? If I closed my eyes right now and said, let's start over. The first thing, before starting anything at all, would be a massive company-wide communication effort so everyone understands what a cultural change actually means, what values we can achieve, what kinds of behaviors are going to show up now in the company's climate and culture, and what exactly we're trying to accomplish. Make it much more public. What else have we gotten out of this? Well, we wanted to make decisions, and to make decisions we need data. We wanted to improve visibility. And in the end, what have we actually done? We've changed these habits and practices. We've changed the way we communicate. We've massively increased the quality of our interactions. And for example, what I'm showing you right now is basically our weekly meeting. In the weekly meeting, we use this board. This board I'm showing you here is a project-level board. Along the top are all the project's milestones, and each of these white lines you see here represents one of the departments involved in the project. As you can see, there are about 10 departments involved in each project. Each department's initiatives are linked to the project's milestones, which gives us full alignment across all objectives at the company level, at the department level, and then, further down, in each of the departmental boards, every task is aligned to the objective and the needs of the business. That was one of the goals we had for the team as well, that they'd be fully aligned with the goal of customer satisfaction and the goal of meeting deadlines and delivering on time. Even so, have we achieved things? Absolutely, a lot. Our first goal was the mindset shift, and we've truly achieved a core team that works together, coordinated, collaborative. There are no information silos, information flows freely. And Anna's team is the envy of the other PMs. We've had PMO leads sit in on our meetings and notice that shift in the team, how they're able to be proactive, propose improvement actions, and make local decisions on their own. It's incredibly rewarding to see that progress. As for the climate and culture, they've picked up a set of behaviors, a set of capabilities, the values we wanted from the very beginning, and all of it achieved through experimentation on the board, through reinforcing practices, working through all of these practices, and through experimentation, we've managed to solidify all those values. But we still need to focus a lot more. We've used blockers, we've used visual risk signals. We have specific policies for how we flag a risk, how we communicate everything within the board. And in our meetings, what we do is first look at the board, but then we also have some specific dashboards, queries that focus us directly on blockers, on risks, on the important dates for that week, and on the project's priorities. So, in those meetings, what we've done is focus our attention much more sharply. With all of this, we're gradually building up metrics. Right now, we can actually see how long an activity normally takes, and we can even see if there's an impact from blockers and evaluate on the same chart how much blocked time there's been. Even get some insight into the root cause. What can we do with this chart? We use it in our weekly or daily meetings, and it lets us get ahead of bottlenecks. Here you can see that when the WIP section starts widening, when we see that color spreading, it means we're hitting a bottleneck. So if we review it continuously, we can be proactive and put improvement measures in place to keep it from turning into a real bottleneck. And if it has already become a bottleneck, we've already been shown the methodology to fix it. With this chart, what we've achieved is always visualizing the board from right to left. We need to push through everything that's close to being finished. Why? Because if we finish it, we free up capacity to take on more. And indirectly, we can also invoice for it. So what am I trying to say with all of this? In the end, at the mindset level, which was our #1 goal, we've achieved it and then some. The team has improved across all its capabilities. They work really well together. Like I mentioned, there are no more silos, they're very transparent, they trust each other, they seek each other out for these projects and for others. And then, on the business needs side, we've at least started to have metrics that let us assess and produce estimates so we can respond to clients. This team, which has now delivered 4 of the company's most important projects, has met its deadlines, and client satisfaction on all 4 of those projects has been excellent. And right now, we have a lot more tools to keep evolving that organizational capability we were aiming for.